What's going on, guys? My name is Andy HD, and I'm just gonna jump out and say it. By far, the best EV you could possibly take across the country is gonna be a Tesla Model 3. Now, fortunately, I was actually able to make this journey across the whole United States, and I think I know a little bit enough about the Tesla Model 3 to tell you some of its features and how they are crucial for our journey. Now, surprisingly enough, I did in fact take the trip across the country, and I'm here to tell you some of the features that got me through this trip. But before we get into it too much, I'm gonna go ahead and give you some backstory. Now, after many months and after many stressful days and nights, my wife and I were finally able to purchase our first home. There's just one thing. It's located all the way in sunny California, more than 2,200 miles away. We organized our stuff, and with the help of a few family members, we started our trip across the country. Now, the trip did take around 6 days, and that's with a cat and a bunny rabbit. Now, let's be honest with each other, 2,200 miles is not a short drive by any means. But without the features of this Model 3, we probably couldn't have made it, I'm just being honest. With all these features in mind, I don't think I'd want to travel across the country any other way. Now, by far, get this out of the way, the feature that made this drive the easiest that I can ever imagine it was Autopilot. Duh, right? Yeah, I know. But listen, whenever we were driving through the endless fields of Oklahoma, Nevada, Arizona, I was on autopilot most of the time. And because of that, I was actually pretty relaxed during the journey. My wife and I were able to listen to music, we were able to record some great videos, and we would end our 12-hour days and with me feeling relatively refreshed. I'm on my tippy toes, I don't know why I'm bouncing upwards. Now, it is important to note that I did not trust Autopilot everywhere, okay? When we're going through the mountains over in Maryland, or if we're on some sketchy roads next to big cities, Oklahoma City, St. Louis, sometimes next to these cities, the roads just aren't that good. Let's be honest, okay? And over time, you start to realize where the roads are not good enough for Autopilot to really understand how to get through. So in those situations, yeah, I took over. But for the majority of the trip, there were clean lines on the road, and it was fairly simple for Autopilot to navigate around. We did actually spend the $200 a month on just the full self-driving, whatever we called it, just so we could change lanes, go around other people and stuff like that, which really made a big difference. Now, on to the second reason that I love this car, and one of the reasons that my animals love this car is because of dog mode. Alright guys, quick explanation of dog mode in case you didn't already know. It's pretty much just a feature where your AC stays on and it displays this really beautiful message up on the front saying that your cabin is cooled to a desired temperature. That's what it looks like. Anyways, back to the video. Now, just because the name implies it's for dogs doesn't mean you can't use it for all your other animals, right? My wife and I, we have a cat and a bunny rabbit. Now we have another one because, yeah, wives. Now, whenever we stop somewhere, whether it's because we were charging or because my family and I wanted to go out and get something to eat in a restaurant, we could safely relieve the animals inside the car without it becoming 1,000 degrees. We kept it at a cool 72, and we didn't have much to worry about. It didn't drain the power all that much, or at least none that I could recognize. But with the tinted windows, the windshield covering on, we got back to the car and the car was actually nice. Now, I definitely would say be careful with this feature, as if you do forget to turn it on, that could be disastrous. Practically illegal. Granted, I'm not sure how legal dog mode is in the first place, but I'm sure it's okay. Now, I can't tell you enough about how comforting it was for me to be able to get out of the car with my wife and go out and see some of the attractions with my family. We didn't have to worry about the animals being too hot. We didn't have to worry about anything like that. So 100% great. With number 3 up on this list, we're gonna be talking about how efficient it was for me to travel across the entire United States. Now, I can tell you fairly confidently, it was about $20 to fill up my entire battery. Now, it would vary significantly if I wasn't charging up all the way, but a full tank, a full battery would be $20, right? And that's gonna get me anywhere between 300 miles, 350 miles, anything like that, right? If we were trying to go 300 miles in another car with gas prices exploding, it would be a much different story. I think we spent about $400 in total traveling. Keep in mind, we didn't just go from Maryland to California, but in fact, we went up to Vegas, we went up to the Grand Canyon. Well, those were all hundreds of miles out of our way, you know, doubling back and all that. So the savings were immense. Surprisingly enough, once you're around Texas, that's probably where the gas prices are almost their cheapest. But once you go, here, you guys are backwards. Once you go from Maryland, expensive gas, and it gets cheaper and cheaper, you hit the middle, and then you get out here and it gets more expensive, more expensive, more expensive. keep that in mind when you're doing this trip. Obviously here in Cali, I've seen gas prices in the high 6s. You know what I'm saying? It's dropped down a little bit, but keep that in mind. Electricity, cheaper than gas. Now here on our last reason, I know this was a quick video, but I'm just gonna say it. The Tesla Model 3 long range, not even the performance, is an absolute blast to drive. Once you get your foot up on that PP, your car takes off. It kind of feels like a miniature rocket ship, if I'm being honest. The zero latency, you know, 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, it blasts off. It makes it very exciting to not weave, but to pass up other cars that are going just a little bit too slow for your liking, okay? It's a very fun car, being able to just hit the acceleration and taking off into the moon. The way that the Tesla drives, it's a fun car, and because it's such a fun car, you're not gonna always want it on autopilot. The way it drives throughout the mountains with its regenerative braking makes you feel like you're saving on power. And when you want to just take off, you're able to do that. And it's the best feeling in the world. I can't compare it to anything else. If you guys haven't already test drove a Tesla, I would highly recommend it. I mean, that's what I did before I got mine. I test drove it twice maybe, but I kept recommending it. Until you do it, you're not gonna know what you're missing out on. But that wraps it up for this video. If you want to know crazy things that the Tesla can do, go ahead and watch this video right over here. If you like this background, go ahead and leave a like too. All right, guys, have a great day. Take care.